Hi, I'm Maggie, and this is Music Theory for Piano Technicians, Part 9.5, An Introduction to the Circle of Fifths. Let's start out with a quick review. What are the steps in a major scale? We have learned that that is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Why do we have sharps and flats? If we start on C and go whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, we're all in the white keys. But if we take this and shift it and say we start on D, we go whole, but now here's a half step because there's no black key here. So we have to go whole here, then half, whole, whole, whole to C sharp, and then D half. So we need our black keys because we're going to need half steps in places, and there's half steps in those two places between E and F and between B and C. And so if we don't start on C, we have to use black keys. Now, if I start on D, I'm going to go D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. I do not call this G flat because D, E, F, G, we're not going to use two Gs. We're only going to use one G. Trust me, do it this way. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. Now, we're not going to call this D flat because that's going to, trust me, just don't do it. I'm not going to explain it in this video. One C, one D, one B, one A, one of every letter. So we have D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. If I start on, say, E flat, okay, I have E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. Obviously, we're not going to call this D sharp or we'd be in a different key. So E, F, G, A is the next letter. We're not going to call that G sharp. We're going to call it A flat because we're using our letters in order. B flat, C, D, E flat. If I start on D sharp, I'm in a totally different key. We're not doing that. So what is a perfect fifth? If I start on C and I go whole step, half step, whole step, I'm on G. And if I count those letters, C, D, E, F, G, those are my scale degrees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I start counting on C as 1 and I stay in the key of C and I count up to number 5, that C to G is a perfect fifth. You can also say a perfect fifth is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 half steps. But remember, whatever letter you start on, that's your first scale degree, and you have to go up to the fifth scale degree, whatever letter that is. In this case, it's G. I cannot call this A double flat or F double sharp. It has to be a G. So if I start, let's say, well, I've used D. Let's start on D, and I want to go up a fifth. I'm going to use these letters, D, E, and now F sharp's in the key signature. D, E, F sharp, G, A. Now that's scale degrees 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So my perfect fifth is D to A. D to A, right there. That's my perfect fifth. If I were to start on E flat and I go my whole and half steps up, E flat. Let's just count the letters for a second. Forget the flat. E, F, G, A, B. I know this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are 5 letters. So if I start on E flat as my first scale degree, I know my fifth scale degree is going to be B flat. That's what's in the key signature. So E flat to B flat is a perfect fifth. If I start on E, a half step down, or a half step up rather, my mistake, and I go to B, a half step up, that's also a perfect fifth. They're always the same distance apart. I cannot call the perfect fifth from E flat to B flat. I cannot call this B flat an A sharp, because E flat to A sharp, what letters do we have here? We have E, F, G, A. Forget sharps and flats for a minute. That's just 4. It has to be 5. Don't ask me why now. Just do it. There's reasons. I'll get into that later. So that's our perfect fifth. So this is our review. Now let's talk about the circle of fifths. So it's a circle of fifths. So let's start out with a circle. Okay. And as you know, if we are on all white keys, our major scale starts on C. So I'm just going to start on C for right now. What's a fifth up from C? C, D, E, F, G. That's a fifth up from C. So I'm going to put a G here. We're going to go around by fifths. What's a fifth up from G? G, A, B, C, D. Our next fifth is D. What's a fifth up from D? D, E, F, G, A. I'm going to put an A. What's a fifth up from A? A, B, C, D, E. I'm going to put an E. What's a fifth up from E? E, F, G, A, B. I'm going to put a B. What's a fifth up from B? B, C, D, E, F. But is it F? In the key of B, F is sharp. So a fifth up from B is F sharp. What is a fifth up from F sharp? F, G, A, B, C. It's going to be a C sharp. Now, once we hit C sharp, there are no more keys, I'll explain that more in a minute, that start on sharps. So let's back up and rename some of these. It's also true that with flats, there's no more keys after C flat that have flats. I'll explain more on that also. So let's put a C flat here because we know B and C flat are enharmonic equivalents. F sharp, what is the enharmonic equivalent to F sharp? It's G flat. Okay, what is the enharmonic of C sharp? It's D flat. Now, let's continue on. Fifths, we have C flat here. A fifth up from that is G flat. A fifth up from that is D flat. What's a fifth up from D flat? D, E, F, G, A. It's going to be A flat. What is a fifth up from A flat? A, B, C, D, E. It's going to be E flat. What is a fifth up from E flat? E, F, G, A, B. It is B flat. What is a fifth up from B flat? B, C, D, E, F. And it is not F flat. It is F. In the key signature of B flat, F is not sharp or flat. It's just F. So if we go around this way in our circle, we're going up by fifths. If we go the opposite direction, we move by fourths. If you notice that, fourth from C, C, D, E, F, F, G, A, B flat, B, C, D, E, and so on, etc., fourths. I want to be able to erase without erasing my circle of fifths, so I'm going to use this graphic. I would like to point out that these enharmonic keys are the only ones we need to deal with. I mentioned no key signatures, I'll explain that more in a minute, go past C sharp. No key signatures go past C flat. So this is it. Everything else, there is no enharmonic equivalent as far as a key or key signature goes. Moving clockwise around the circle of fifths, every key gains one sharp as you go along. There are no sharps or flats on C. G has an F sharp. D has an F sharp and a C sharp. A has the sharps F, C, and G. E has the sharps F, C, G, and D. B has the sharps F, C, G, D, A. F sharp has the sharps F, C, G, D, A, E, and C sharp has the sharps F, C, G, D, A, E, B. I don't know why I started circling that. So if you notice, once F is sharped, it stays in all the other keys that have sharps. Once C is sharped, it stays in all the other keys that have sharps. Once G is sharped, and so on and so on and so forth. And if you will also notice, they go in exactly the same order, and I'll be talking about that in a minute. This helps you figure out what key you're in, what sharps you have, what the key signature is, etc., and I will get back to that. It works in a similar way, moving counterclockwise. We're moving by fourths, and we add a flat each time. So with F, we have B flat. That's the key of F. In the key of B flat, we have the flats B and E. In the key of E flat, we have the flats B, E, and A. In the key of A flat, we have the flats B, E, A, and D. In the key of D flat, we have the flats B, E, A, D, and G. In the key of G flat, we have the flats B, E, A, D, G, and C. And in the key of C flat, we have the flats B, E, A, D, G, C, and F. And it also follows, once a B is flat, it stays flat going around in the new keys. Once an E is flat, it stays flat. Once an A is flat, once a D is flat, etc., etc., etc. And you'll notice they're always in the same order. And this helps us figure out our key signatures and a lot more, but I will get into that later. I would like you to notice, I'm going to go over this again, that when we move with flats, they start here and they follow this same order. It's just the next one, there's no key of F flat. So that's not on the circle, but that's the next flat. All the flats are always in this order in the circle as they appear. And it's similar with sharps. The first sharp is F. And if you take this F and follow it around, you've got your sharps. F, C, G, D, A, E, and B. And it stops there. And those are your sharps. So you can use this circle not just to tell you how many sharps and flats you have, but what they are. And what I've mentioned a few times is a key. What key you're in and the key signature is based on what note your scale starts on. And since we're only looking at major scales, there's many different types of scales. Our key is going to be on the first note of the major scale, and the key signature is however many sharps or flats there are. So if we're in the key of C, we have no sharps and flats. If we're in the key of G, we have one sharp, F sharp, etc., etc. If we're in the key of F, we have one flat, B flat, and etc., etc. with flats. So the circle of fifths is very useful to, number one, give you your key signatures, how many sharps and flats you have, and then remind you of the order of sharps and flats. This is something that's good to have memorized anyway. Order of sharps, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. And notice these are in fifths. We start on F, and then you go by fifths. These are all fifths. Order of flats, B, E, A, D, G, C, F. And if you will notice, these move by fourths, because that's the direction we went on the circle of fifths. We start with B, and each one of these is a fourth away. If you memorize these, it's very helpful. There's all kinds of acronyms people use. I have never used any of them, so I don't know them, except this spells the word bead. So you just have to memorize the word bead, and then GCF. The order of sharps, I just learned them, FCGDAEB. So you can make up your own acronym if you like. I will post a link to this chart, which has a circle of fifths and includes all the sharps and all the flats on the chart. It's a good idea to memorize their order. It would not hurt to be able to draw this circle of fifths. If you can draw the circle of fifths, all this is easier. So I strongly recommend you learn to draw that and memorize it. There are other things about the circle of fifths one could include, including minor keys and things like that. We don't need that right now, so just learn this much. This will serve you extremely well. If you have any questions, give me an email. Bye-bye.